This year has been extraordinarily intense in competitive Counter-Strike. Thrilling matches, unpredictable outcomes, and record-breaking viewership have gifted us countless memorable moments. Yet, behind this celebration of esports lies a grim reality. Organizations are fighting for survival, and many are teetering on the brink of bankruptcy. Jason Lake, CEO and founder of Complexity, shed light on the darker side of esports during a podcast with Monte Cristo, Richard Lewis, and Thorin. We're Steam Inventory Helper, and we're here to unpack it all. Historically, the CS Esports Economy stood on three pillars: sponsorships, league revenue, and sticker profits from majors. However, over the past year, Valve has systematically dismantled each of these, casting doubt on the future of many teams and the scene itself. Jason Lake, as a business owner, holds an unpopular opinion. Betting companies, ubiquitous in sponsoring tournaments and teams, are almost a lifeline for esports.
It's no surprise to anyone who's followed the ecosystem for a while that even during the esports winter, Counter-Strike was doing comparatively well. And that, to a large part, was due to the fact that it was built on the foundation of betting sponsorships. The betting sponsorships obviously are pretty ubiquitous throughout the Counter-Strike scene, driving $2, $3, $4 million a year to organizations that are fortunate enough to work with, good partners. Being from North America, that has been a competitive disadvantage of ours for years because for regulatory reasons and other things, the larger betting companies generally are hesitant to work with North American teams. Yeah.
You can think what you want about betting ads, but the ecosystem is structured in a way that teams can't survive without them. And, frankly, alternatives are scarce.
Of course, you've got sponsorships and those sorts of things, but they're very fickle. And the marketing budgets of many companies have been withdrawn quite a bit as the global macros changed, interest rates have gone up. There's a lot of uncertainty just around the different wars around the world, and companies are just not wanting to spend in esports right now. We're a little bit of what I call the redheaded stepchild chucked in the back closet. What I'm hearing now is, generally speaking, across the board, a lot of the betting companies are tired of the arms race that they created, and they're looking to lower the deals as those expire.
Valve, however, seems intent on tightening the screws. For instance, in August this year, just before the International 2024, Valve announced a significant shift in Dota 2. This year, to remove distracting elements and allow full focus on the game and the players, we aren't going to have advertisements and sponsorships in-game at the International, including in team banners, base logos, and tags in player names. In recent years, economic stability in Counter-Strike has largely been maintained by league revenue for Tier 1 organizations. ESL and Blast allowed teams to buy participation slots, leaving only a few spots open for qualification. These league systems provided consistent revenue-sharing models, giving millions annually to partner teams. It was a closed club ensuring financial stability for its members, while making it almost impossible for outsider teams to break in. However, on August 3rd, 2024, Valve intervened. Over the past few years, we've seen professional Counter-Strike drift away from that ideal. The ecosystem has become less open, with access to the highest levels of competition increasingly gated by business relationships. Tournament organizers can no longer maintain special partnerships with teams, and all invites will now be distributed through a new ranking system. While this move increases competition, it forces Tier 1 organizations to reconsider their approach, potentially leading to disbanded rosters and reduced player salaries. The third pillar of financial stability, major stickers, was once a reliable revenue stream for teams. For years, organizations counted on major appearances for significant profits. Securing a spot at the major often meant survival for the next season, or avoiding bankruptcy altogether. According to Jason Lake, this revenue model fundamentally changed after the Paris Major.
And I'm also sad to report that really since the Paris Majors, stickers and the revenue driven by majors has completely fallen off a cliff. The Paris Major was a notable exception the last game in CSGO, and the numbers blew off the charts, some 2, 3, 4x of your average major. And therefore, a lot of groups that aren't quite as cynical as I might be started doing their financial budgeting based off this new paradigm of multi-million-dollar stickers.
They did that thing where they acted like it was always going to hit that valuation.
Yeah, and I'm like, there's no way in hell it's always going to hit. Sticker revenues decline. Paris to Copenhagen by 75%-ish, and it depends which capsule. Some
the
capsules
diminishing returns on stickers are actually insane.
In China, from what we are seeing, I mean, it's still ongoing. It's probably going to be 30 to 40% less than Copenhagen, and it's still ongoing.
So compared to
but it's abysmal.
last, it might be something like a tenth of what the actual stickers was.
The community's frustration, encapsulated in Thorin's fiery critique, stems from Valve's apparent negligence and assembly line approach to content.
You know, in football, famously, when you're a boy, you want the newest jersey, don't you? If you're the Newcastle fan, you want yours. I want my fucking Robbie Fowler Liverpool jersey. But famously, when you go to your mum, if you're not a rich kid, you go, the new season's out. When she goes to the shop, you better just get the money from her home, because if she goes to the shop and she sees that shirt looks almost identical to last season's shirt, but it costs £50, she's going to go, you've already got that shirt. Now, the problem with the stickers to this day is they are the same logo. They don't even, they maybe have like a slight outline, or they might put, something about Shanghai or something. It's the logo. So all you do is just buy in the Navi logo 15 times. Now, listen, even the biggest Navi fan ever eventually gets bored of that. Like, it's just, the problem is, it doesn't even, I even think that part's just a weird one. I don't know why we're leaving that one. Like, isn't that obvious? It should just have something unique.
The significant drop in sticker revenue completely shatters the established paradigm where rosters were built specifically to qualify for the major. Now, this idea sounds more like a joke. Take partner investments amounting to 3 to 4 million, put them into the roster to qualify for a major, and earn just 1 million from stickers. Jason believes the public's interest in esports hasn't diminished. The problem lies in monetization. Over the next 12 to 18 months, he predicts a market correction. Some organizations will leave CS, some will go bankrupt, and player salaries will align more closely with those in other esports disciplines. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's clear the scene was inflated. A downturn doesn't mean a healthy business can't exist. It just means players will earn more from prize pools than from salaries.
Prize money only helps the broader ecosystem if it allows the organizations to lower salaries and invest those dollars in other ways to grow their brand, to grow their following, whatever that might be. Prize money generally goes 80-90% to the players, which is great for the players. But if there's not a better spreading of the money that's being invested into an overall ecosystem and you're starving out the orgs, people are like, why'd that org close, or why'd that org leave this game? It's like, you need to see the whole picture. Like,
Valve acts impulsively and without foresight. We don't like this, so we'll cancel it. By destroying the established ecosystem, they offer nothing new except for extending the discount period on major capsules. Teams will face serious problems if Valve doesn't come up with new monetization methods. CS needs something exclusive that generates revenue for both Valve and the teams. Simply put, Team Charms could have greatly helped the entire industry, but even that didn't happen. Richard Lewis expressed the opinion that Valve is intentionally doing nothing because they have a poor attitude toward organizations, seeing them as unnecessary. Thorin and Jason share the same view.
Over and over again, and I gotta be careful if I call it specific instances. People get all bent out of shape. The developers treat teams like shit. They act like we bring absolutely nothing to the ecosystem. They don't see us up at 2 a.m. talking a kid off a ledge who's having a hard time in his life. They don't see all the work that goes into training. They don't see all the effort that goes into building the facilities and taking care of these young people, who many of whom aren't quite mature enough to make adult decisions. They don't see when we're financially educating them, we're getting them they don't see a lot of the good. There's a lot of value that teams bring, and we've seen that in traditional sports for years and years, but time and time again, and I could rattle off 24 examples across, many different esports. The teams are squeezed out, the teams are disrespected, the teams are disregarded, and it is demoralizing at times.